started. Okay, so everybody, welcome to STAC Your Future Career Week. We are really excited to have Active International here with us today. I'm going to be introducing you to Mr. Vines in a moment, but before we get started, I just want to remind you to please turn off your microphones. We will be recording this session, and we will leave questions until the end. So you can either put them up in the chat. If you're in a classroom, you can let your faculty know that you have a question and they can put it into the chat for us. And we'll be sure to get to all those at the end of the session. If you are on yourself, not in a class, at the end, you are also welcome to unmute once we get to the Q&A period, and you could just ask your question. But without further ado, I do want to introduce Mr. Tom Vines. He is the Senior Vice President of Human Resource Talent and Culture. And we're so happy to have you, Tom, and really looking forward to hearing what you have to say today.
Thank you, Maureen. And when I got the invitation to participate, I said, absolutely, I'm in. And basically because a couple of reasons. One, I have lots of respect for the quality of the students at STAC, as well as the placement office. And the second reason is that we have a lot of STAC alumni that are employed at Active International, and we're right down the street. So I said definitely. So let me take you through a little picture of who we are, what we do. I'll share a little bit of the typical type of careers that we have at Active, share with you benefits, as well as our focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and talk a little bit about training culture. And one of the things that's unique about Active is a very active, no pun intended, corporate citizen. And I think that this is one of the things that sort of enables us to stick out in the community, but also it's attractive to our employees. So Active is basically a corporate trading company. What's a corporate trading company? Basically, we help corporations with their assets. Maybe it's assets that are underperforming, and we will help them to move those assets off of their books. And also we can help them in terms of spending their monies for marketing more wisely. We've been in business for 37 years. We're right down the road from you, but from people who may not be familiar with Pearl River, we're right outside of New York City, and we do have a global footprint. So unlike some companies, it says they put international at the bottom or at the end of their name, we actually have about 200 people spread out in 14 countries around the world. But also, although our tradition is in corporate trade, and the last couple of years in 2016 and 2019, Active made what I consider some wise investments in terms of establishing Involved Media. Involved Media focuses a lot on digital media. And then we also established Broadbean Media in 2019. Broadbean Media focuses on direct response. Let me give you a few examples of Involved Media, digital. Involved Media client would be like Colgate. Colgate, in addition to placing ads in TVs and radio stations, they also want to place their ads more digital, like on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. So that's the type of solution that Involved Media would make, more of a digital. Broadbean Media, in terms of direct response media, would be an example would be Nordic Track is a client. We're all sitting at home during COVID. eating a lot of potato chips and ice cream, and you see a commercial that says, put down that ice cream and get on your Nordic track, dial 1-800-NORDIC. And so Active would, through our Broadbean Media organization, works with, sort of those direct responses, asking consumers to respond directly. And in these organizations, especially, there's lots of analytics, a lot of data capability, data mining, and targeting audiences and stuff and activities like that. So in a nutshell, that's what Active International. We do consider ourselves to be both a financial and a marketing solution client. And as I said, we purchase underperforming assets. So another example of this would be Colgate. Let's say Colgate last fall launched this fabulous mint charcoal toothpaste. And they're getting ready for January to launch a new peppermint green tea. And so they need to place ads. They would come to Active and say, Active, can you negotiate with ABC, CNN, and so forth for the placement of my ads for this great new peppermint toothpaste? And we would say, sure, but we would also be able to offer them, that charcoal mint toothpaste that you launched last year? You still have it in warehouses in Poughkeepsie, in Philadelphia, in Miami. We can take that off your hands. And Colgate will say, oh, that's great, you'll take care of that. And we'll say, yes, but you have to agree that on your next generation of toothpaste after the peppermint, that you will come to Active to do your placement ads. And so that's a sort of a value proposition that Active International has, and it's pretty unique to do that type of thing. And so we go around doing a lot of media buying, from TV stations to radio stations to Facebook's, TikTok, buying media for Colgate, Nordic Track, and all those other clients that I talked about. So we have many opportunities across many different types of disciplines. We have the assets remarketing. Remember, I talked about the charcoal toothpaste. How would you remarket that? How would you find potential buyers for that? We negotiate with the TV stations, the newspapers, the magazines, the TikTok, in terms of buying media for them. So that's a lot of media negotiating. I talked about digital marketing. That's in our Involve organization. So we do hire people in that area as well. We also hire people to do new business sales and also finance in terms of accounts receivable, accounts payables, accountants, and those types of things. And we also hire media assistants. Media assistants is sort of like an entry-level role, and it's a sort of an introduction to the media business. You're usually tagged with a media buyer, and you're working with that person to buy TV spots in different markets. You could be assigned to Philadelphia, you could be assigned to the Washington, D.C., and you basically understand their local footprint in terms of media that you can buy. And then you, as a media assistant, you also will say, okay, we had planned to run this, and that commercial. However, Hurricane Ida came and TVs, the TV stations weren't able to run your ads. So you're doing a lot of juggling in terms of, okay, let's go back and renegotiate where we can find additional TV spots that were missed. And I think really Active, as I said in the beginning, is committed to making a difference for our clients with sort of value propositions. We believe that the corporate trade is something that's pretty unique, and we have experience and experts in that. And we also like to make sure that we are supporting our community, and we also like to have fun. So from a benefits plan standpoint, I won't go through them. I think in general, Active has one of the most progressive, comprehensive benefits programs. And the unique thing is that you are eligible for these benefits on day one. And the other unique thing is that for the last 5 years, as benefits costs and wellness costs have increased, Active as an employee has bared that expense as opposed to raising the premiums that our employees would pay. So that's another example in terms of Active's commitments to its employees. We also provide financial planning in terms of different types of flex savings, 401k, a 529 college savings plan, as well as transportation allowances. We basically have, as I mentioned, headquartered in Pearl River, but we have a location which I'm from. I'm actually sitting in today in New York City off of Fifth Avenue and 30th behind the Empire State Building. So we provide transportation allowance assistance that our employees find helpful. A very generous holiday program, vacations, sick days, and up to $6,000 a year for tuition assistance. So that is something that is very attractive and a way in which we try to continue to support our employees who are developing and increasing their skills and capabilities. We also have an employee referral program. You refer an employee, you get $500. You refer an applicant, you get $500 for each applicant that you refer that's hired. And we have programs that you can get discounts through for anything from mattresses to car insurance. That's another example of some of the discounts that we offer. We believe that diversity sort of has 3 important legs to it. One is that we have to hold our employees accountable. That's the first bullet. The third bullet is we also have to hold our manager accountable and committed, similar employees committed as well. And in the middle, the middle bullet is really focusing on basically saying that we are focused on welcoming all in terms of making sure that there's no discrimination and that we're inclusive in terms of the types of things that we do. Active is very focused on making sure that we're preparing not just for current, but staying ahead of the game. And so we offer a variety of training and development opportunities. And some of the unique programs that we have is if you wanted to be a buyer, in terms of buying ads, you could go through our buyer training program. So when you come into Active and you start as a media assistant, there's probably 2 decisions that you have to make. Do I want to work in terms of buying media, or do I want to work in terms of servicing clients? So like servicing Colgate would be that opportunity to be in the account management side of media. Buying media from TV stations, from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube would be sort of through the buyer training program. That's sort of the second step after you become a media assistant in terms of types of tracks that you would go through. We provide e-learning training as well as professional development. And we also have a lunch and learn series where basically we take experts within our business and they provide sort of a, what's happening in my industry. Active does a lot of research on the market, research on consumers, and we share that with our employees to keep them abreast to what's going on. I mentioned previously the tuition assistance program and our benefits program, but we also see that as a training feature for our new employees and employees as well. So what is the culture like at Active? We actually ran a culture survey, and these are some of the typical type of comments that we got from people. It's a family-like atmosphere, good learning. They like the flexible work environment that we have. It's a fun place to work. We have strong and caring executive managers. The thing that I like about Active is that it's a very entrepreneurial company. Not like you have to make 20 presentations or go through 8 meetings to get something done. If there's something that you have an idea, you talk to your manager, he or she will say, yeah, that's pretty good. Let's try it. Or what resources will you need to do it? So that's the type of thing that I like about Active in terms of the very entrepreneurial spirit that it has. We actually are having a town hall meeting today virtually, where we're giving our employees an update and informing them what's happening in the business, what do we forecast or what do we foresee going forward. A good casual dress, time off, room for advancement, company and employees are committed, and again, the management team seems to be very approachable. I mentioned community, and Active has always been a driving force. The community has always been a driving force behind our business. And we believe that we should be giving back to the community. Some of the ways in which we do this is we have established sort of what some people would say sort of like an Active foundation, where we give back to the community. That's called Active Cares. That's the name of our organization. And we established that in 1997. And it's dedicated to supporting initiatives within the community, but also initiatives that our employees are passionate about, as well as supporting our clients and vendors. We do allow volunteering. You can donate to charitable organizations. And since 1997, there's been over 600 organizations that Active has supported. And we do give priority in terms of basic living needs like food, health and wellness, education, and sustainability issues. And I listed down in the last bullet some of the organizations that we have supported. As I mentioned, over 600, but this is just an example, and you can see Farms for City Kids, People to People, and we even support creating a cardiovascular institute at a local hospital in Rockland. So a variety of things that we have contributed. And we pride ourselves on taking an active role in the community. And we have a spirit of service, and it's driven by our employees, and we encourage them. Volunteer programs can be done during work hours. It's not like something that is you do after work. We believe in integrating that into our work. And we also support employees for paid time off if they want to volunteer. And additionally, we have a matching grant program that supports our employees in terms of the organizations that they contribute to. So that's Active, and we have a team of people that you may see or have seen before on campus. And with that, Maureen, I'll open it up to questions.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was great. Sorry, I was having problems getting my mute button to come off. So I'm just going to look at the chat. If anybody wants to throw up a question now, you can put it in the chat or unmute yourselves. While we're waiting for questions, I did want to ask, So right now, Tom, do you have internships that you're looking currently to place, or are they not coming out till next semester? I'm curious where you stand with internships.
Okay, good. We typically have had internships in the past. We experimented this summer with doing virtual internships, and we felt pretty comfortable about that. And so we're planning the next semester to come out with additional internships for the spring semester as well as summer. For any graduating seniors or close to graduating seniors, I forgot to mention that at activeinternational.com is our website, and there is a careers section on there, and you'll see currently there are about 15 openings. It gives you a sense of not only entry level, but also positions that you might aspire to. And I would encourage people to visit that website for positions if they are a rising senior, but then we also probably, Maureen, in the November and December timeframe, will post our intern positions as well, and we'll inform you of those as well.
So that's great. So I just saw a question come up. Do you have any need for computer science majors in your organization?
Absolutely. There's quite a bit of technology and media, in addition to just supporting an organization from a IT support standpoint. So we have application developers, we also have help desks, and we have a focus on cybersecurity as well. And I think one of the things that is unique about Active, again, as I said, with the name being international, is that we are making more globally integrated teams, such that we're sort of shrinking the earth and being more international in our mindset and our activities. The other thing, Maureen, that I would say is that probably one of the amazing things in media that I think is sort of rising is around media analytics. And I mentioned that Active has purchased Broadbeam or created Broadbeam Media and Involved Media. One of the unique things that Broadbeam Media brings to the Active family was their capability around media analytics. You know, when people click at this website, where do they go? How many impressions do you have? Analyzing and understanding that is a very new, up and coming and important aspect of media that I think is sort of taking over the media industry.
Now, do you foresee that you might be looking for interns for that type of position, the media analytics?
Yes, yes, we definitely will. We currently hire some people with masters in media analytics. Believe it or not, there are some schools that are providing that now. But we also have put folks without a master's degree that has a passion for the analytics and have studied that into, this could be Python, R, Tableau, BI. These are some of the foundational courses or experiences that people have that go into the media analytics.
Okay. Oh, that's
so they have an opportunity to sort of marry two passions. And this is what we're seeing is a lot of our students like the interdisciplinary programs, where they get to marry some of their passions. They just don't have a passion for one. And in the media analytics, they get to marry their passion for math and statistical models with media. And so that is a very hot area in the industry and for us as well.
Okay, that sounds interesting. I hadn't heard about that field.
Yeah.
So on a different note, and I may have asked you this in the past, but just for our students, do you consider for both internships and or entry-level opportunities international students?
We do on selective cases, we do. And we have had a couple of international students as well.
And, you know, if an international student was interested in working in one of your locations in another country, what would be the best way for them to go about finding out more about that? Is that all on the same website for them to apply, or is there a special?
Yeah, I would suggest that, Maureen, I'm comfortable if you have a student that wants to write to me or send me an email and tell me which locations they're interested in. I will get it to them. There's no like centralized for all the different countries that we have, but okay. I can help. We do list on our website, not in the career area, but in the general, the countries that we're in.
Okay. Yeah, because that can sometimes be a struggle we have a lot of amazing international students here at the college, and sometimes they struggle with finding organizations. I mean, the intern position, as I understand it, is not as big of a deal as it is for sponsorship down the road.
Right.
Yeah, I think they get a year out and then they would need a company to sponsor them. But so that's an important question for us, for our students. So thank you.
Just be a year out automatic, and then they can apply for 2 additional years, which makes it a total of 3 years.
Okay, and that's that OPT, I think.
OPT, right? Yeah.
Okay, so it's good to know that you would consider international students for these roles, because that's a big question we get frequently. I don't see any other questions in the chat. I thought I had one other. I have to say, everything that you described was very helpful. It was, I know I've spoken with you before about opportunities there, but I really enjoyed this breakdown. It really made it very clear to me. So I'm sure it was clear to the students. But I would give a pause for a last opportunity for students to ask a question. And if we don't have any, I don't know if you have any last suggestions. Oh, wait. Oh, one of the students had a question, but she said it was answered.
Yeah. I would, so Maureen, I would take a couple seconds. We have 2 more minutes. I'll take 1 minute of the 2. Sure. And just encourage the students to, you know, continue to explore, think about being ready for searching in a virtual world. More and more companies are going to be remote. More and more companies are going to be screening you through this type of platform, and being ready for those. And I know the Career Placement Office does a great job in terms of preparing you, but it's always, it's good to practice your virtual preparations for job interviews and those types of things. This comes from an uncle with 12 nieces and nephews who are, and of the 12, 8 of them are in college. So I would encourage you to get ready for the virtual search for your interns and your regular positions. And because it's new, but I think it's part of the way of the future.
That's a great point. I mean, I know there were virtual interviews prior to COVID, but that really springboarded us into, that seems to be now the culture for many companies. Is the first interview may be a remote virtual interview, and a lot of companies will do all or majority of their interviews that way. So
Right.
that's what you're doing at this time, is a lot of the virtual interviewing?
Yes, virtual. We've been virtual since for about 18 months, actually. We have opened up our offices and said, hey, we're open if you, you know, you need a break from home, or you don't like your roommate in your 600 square feet apartment in New York City, you can come into our office. But we're not, you know, sort of saying everybody back to the office. We understand that people have obligations and they're still reluctant. And so we've been very, very careful to sort of not do mandates, but understand that people have lots of different things going on in a very different world. And that's what we have been doing. On the virtual preparation, one of the tips I can give you is make sure your computer works, make sure you can make sure you turn on the video. It's not okay to just do the audio. Log in 5 minutes before, at least anticipate technology challenges, but be ready and be prepared. This is, I think, is the way for the future for us.
Yeah, those are great tips, especially for any students who haven't yet done the virtual interview. Yeah, all those are wonderful tips. And there's, you know, if anyone has any questions about that, you're welcome to come talk with us further. But I'm really glad you brought that up, because that is something for students to think about. They should be at any interview early, and that goes doubly for the online, because as you said, there could be a technical issue. You don't want to be late for that reason.
Some people use Zoom, some companies use Teams, the Microsoft 65 platform. Some companies use Slack. You know, don't chance it. You know.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat, so I am going to wrap up now, but I definitely want to say thank you so much, Tom, for being a part of this. I think this is going to be great that we can share this information with our students. And we look forward to a continued relationship, really, with Active International. We've worked with you guys for a while now, and we appreciate that you are looking at our students and alumni for your opportunities. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, have a great day. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good day. Good day.